We are looking at methods for identifying the subject and the verb in this sentence. We are up to rule 3 of 7. This is the only rule we're going to cover in this video. The rule is that the subject of a sentence never appears within a prepositional phrase. Now, a prepositional phrase is simply a group of words that begins with a preposition. And I have an example sentence here on the screen for you. And this example has two prepositional phrases in it. The first sentence, under the couch cushion, I found $2 in change. Now, we have two prepositional phrases here. The word under is a preposition, and the word in is a preposition. So I'm going to cross out those prepositional phrases, under the couch and in change. So when I'm looking for the subject and the verb, that only leaves me with, I found $2. So I know that that's where the subject lies. So I is the subject and found is the verb. Now, this rule requires us to be familiar with prepositions. You can't cross out those prepositional phrases unless you can easily identify prepositions. We should take the time to commit those to memory if you haven't already done that before. On the next slide, I have a list of the most common prepositions, and I also have this list available as a handout in the module. So if you haven't already, study this list, try to commit as many of them to memory as you can, or at the very least, print the list out and keep it handy while you're going through this module. Because identifying prepositions is going to be a very useful skill in the next modules too, where we're talking about fragments and run-ons. Now, if you're not sure if a word is a preposition, if you haven't committed this list quite to memory, maybe you see a word in a sentence and you think it could be, then there's a couple of tests that usually work, and I have those here. This first test is a sentence, I hid the treasure blank the doghouse. Well, what are some words that you could fill in that blank that would make sense? Words like, I hid the treasure behind the doghouse. I hid the treasure under the doghouse. I hid the treasure inside the doghouse. I hid the treasure around the doghouse. All of those make sense, and all of those words I just mentioned are prepositions. There's another test. I will meet you blank the party. What are some words that would make sense in that sentence? I will meet you after the party. I will meet you before the party. I will meet you inside the party. I will meet you at the party. I will meet you during the party. All of those words make sense, and all of those words are also prepositions. Now, these tests don't replace memorizing those prepositions, because you need to be able to easily identify, like pretty much at a glance, a prepositional phrase in a sentence. This doesn't really help you do that, but this does help you if you're just not sure and you need to test a word. Here's some more examples where we need to first identify the preposition and the prepositional phrase, and then identify the subject and the verb of the sentence. Here I have, the sales pages of the newspaper have disappeared. So we have one preposition in this sentence, of, and the prepositional phrase then is of the newspaper. That leaves me with the sales pages have disappeared. And so I know that that's where my subject is. So the sales pages is my subject and have disappeared is my verb. Let's try another example. This one actually has two prepositional phrases. I have during and beside. During the summer months, I stay beside the pool. So I know I need to cross out during the summer months and beside the pool. And you see, once we cross those out, what's left becomes really simple. I stay. Well, I know the verb, the subject then is I, and the verb is stay. Now, you can see as well that if I didn't cross these out, if I didn't know my prepositions, I might think that the first noun in the sentence is my subject, summer months. And that would be incorrect, because that is part of a prepositional phrase, and the subject can never be part of the prepositional phrase. So in the next video, we're going to look at some more examples where we have to first eliminate any prepositional phrases, before we identify the subject and verb of the sentence.